Hello everyone, in today's video, we'll be talking about home lines. If you like these types of videos, be sure to subscribe, and let's get started. Home Lines was founded in 1946 in Genoa with Swedish American Line and Koslich Lines as major shareholders. The connection with Swedish American Line was reflected in the funnel colors of the new company, with both lines featuring a yellow funnel with a blue disc on it and a crown. The Home Lines ones were different, having one crown instead of three crowns. In the same year, the company purchased their first ship, the 10,699 gross ton Bergensfjord from Norwegian American Line, which was renamed SS Argentina and placed on transatlantic routes from Genoa to South America in 1947. Although operated by Home Lines, the ship was managed by Koslich Lines. Already in 1946, Home Lines had purchased a second ship, the Swedish American liner Drottningholm. But that ship was not delivered to the company until 1948, when she was renamed Brazil and placed alongside Argentina on Genoa South America service. In 1948, Home Lines purchased another former Swedish-American ship, Kungsholm, which was renamed Italia, as well as former Matson Lines ship Matsonia, which entered service in 1949 as reconstruction from the First Atlantic. The Brazil and Italia were managed by South Atlantic Lines, which was owned by the same company as Swedish-American Line. We'll now be going over a short history of every ship in their fleet, starting off with the SS Argentina. Originally, the SS Bergensfjord was a Norwegian ocean liner that sailed for Norwegian American Line to the United States. During the Second World War, she was requisitioned and turned into a troop ship. After the war, she continued sailing as a transatlantic passenger liner, first for South American owners, and then for an Israeli company. There's not that much information in this ship for Home Line service, but it was scrapped in August of 1959. The company that bought Drottningholm in 1948 renamed her Brazil and registered her in Panama. It was associated with the Italian Home Lines and SAL with a major shareholder. Brazil's new route was to Genoa and Rio de Janeiro. In 1951, the ship was refitted in Italy with a more modern, more spacious accommodation for fewer passengers and reduced tonnage. Her ownership was transferred to Mediterranean Lines. Hamburg America Line chartered her, renamed her Homeland, and put her on a route between Hamburg and New York, Southampton, and Halifax. In 1952, the ship was to the route between Genoa and New York via Naples and Barcelona. From 1953, she was owned by Directly Home Lines. She was scrapped in 1955, making her 50 years old, older than the shore tender Nomadic. Italia was built in 1928 as a Swedish-American liner, Kungsholm. She was renamed John Ericsson in 1942 and sold Home Lines in 1948, who renamed her Italia for the Genoa South America service. She soon switched to the North Atlantic, sailing between both Genoa and Germany. Home Lines had run winter cruises in the 1950s, but in 1963 decided to abandon the North Atlantic routes and go cruising full-time with the year-round route from New York to Nassau. Replaced soon afterwards by Homeric, Italia was sold for Freeport as a floating hotel in Imperial Bahama. Both sold for scrap shortly afterwards, arriving in Bilbao on September 8, 1965. She was originally called the SS Malolo for Matson Lines. After retirement by the Matson Line, she was sold to Home Lines, which renamed her Atlantic and later Queen Fredericia, before being sold to Chandris Lines. After 50 years of service for several different companies, she was sold to Greek Breakers in July 1977. In February 1978, while her interiors were being demolished, she was gutted by fire and work was temporarily halted. 3 years later, her remaining hull sections could still be seen among the other ships in the wreckers yard. Originally the SS Mariposa, in 1947, the ship was mothballed for 6 years at Union Iron Works in Alameda, California. Homelines bought her and renamed her SS Homeric, sailing to Trieste for reconstruction to allow 1,243 passengers, 147 first class, and 1,096 tourist class. Gross registered tonnage increased to 18,563, and total length increased to 641 feet. Homelines operated her beginning on January 24th, 1955, for liner service between ports of North Atlantic. Oceanic was delivered to Homelines in March 1965. On March 31st, she left for a transatlantic crossing with fare-paying passengers, only 200 of them, from Genoa to New York City. She made a short series of transatlantic crossings, following which she entered cruise service from New York to Bahamas on April 24th, 1965, operating in tandem from the SS Homeric. During summers, Oceanic ran 7-day cruises from New York to Bahamas, with longer cruises from the Caribbean during the winter. Oceanic was one of the most successful cruise ships of her time, operating consistently at 95% capacity, with cruises booked up to 1 year in advance. The Oceanic was sent to China for scrapping in July 2012. I have a video on my channel about the Premier Cruise Lines with the Oceanic in it. It's on my channel if you want to go see it. In 1973, the Hanseatic was sold to Homelines after losing the Homeric in a fire as a replacement ship. After being sold to Homelines on September 25, 1973, Hanseatic was renamed Doric and subsequently rebuilt with a larger after superstructure. Homelines used her for cruising around Port Everglades to the West Indies during the Northern Hemisphere winter season, and New York to Bermuda during the summer season. In preparation for the new delivery of the New Atlantic in 1982, Homelines sold Doric to Royal Cruise Line in 1981. I already made a video about Royal Cruise Line on my channel. You can check it out. On July 26, 2001, she sunk outside Cape St. Francis. The ship was built in 1982. She was 35,142 tons, had 9 passenger decks, and could have a passenger capacity of 1,062. There isn't much to say about this ship with the history of Homelines, but between 1988 and 1997, she sailed for Premier Cruise Line as Starship Atlantic. In 1997, the vessel entered service for MSC Cruises as the Melody. She was marketed as MSC Melody in 2004, but her official registered name remained Melody throughout her MSC career. She was retired in January 2013. The Homeric was planned during the first half of the 1980s as a replacement for aging the SS Oceanic for Homelines. The ship was built in Germany and was named in honor of the company's earlier SS Homeric, a popular ship that had been destroyed by a fire in 1973. The new Homeric was launched on September 28, 1985. She performed her sea trials between the 26th and 30th of December, but didn't enter service until May 1986. During her service with Homelines as the Homeric was used for cruises from New York to Bermuda and during the Northern Hemisphere summer season and cruises in the Caribbean during the rest of the year. The success of the Homerican service with home lines has been questioned, with one author describing her as the giant swan song of the company. Whether the fault of the ship was something else, Homeline was purchased by the Holland America Line in 1988. And that's all of the fleet. Now, what happened to home lines? Home lines continued operating until 1988, when the company was purchased by Holland America Line and its operation merged with those of Holland America. The Atlantic was sold to Premier Cruise Line, becoming Starship Atlantic, while the Homeric became Holland America Line's Westerdam. I personally like their ships, but what do you think of them? Tell me in the comments. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video, which is probably gonna be my 100 subscribers special. We'll probably have to see what that is. You'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.